Hi everyone! Being a Girl Scout is the best for so many reasons. Here are the top 5.
Number 1, have fun!
Your next adventure is waiting for you. Get outside, explore the world around you. You get to choose.
Number 2, make friends!
You can laugh, get silly, or even be serious when you want to. All with other Girl Scouts.
Number 3, try new things!
Whether you like science, art, the outdoors, taking care of animals, or building robots, you can find your next favorite thing.
Number 4, use your voice!
What you have to say is important. You'll get to share your ideas, and we know you have lots of them.
Number 5, make the world better!
Whether you want to fix a problem at your school, save all the puppies, build a rain garden, or make the whole wide world a better place, there are lots of ways to do it. So be a Girl Scout. Learn more today at girlscouts.org.
Historic Georgia. Today's meeting will cover highlights and important information from Girl Scouts of Historic Georgia's past year. We have a lot to share, but we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and then the Girl Scout Promise and Law. I am pleased to present members from Historic Georgia's Media Girls team to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the Girl Scout Promise and Law.
Color guard attention. Color guard advance.
They don't have enough people. They would have their email word to put out.
Color guard post the color. Color guard salute.
Because we're not having enough.
Girl Scouts, the flag of our country. We will now say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
In my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scouts law.
I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful,
Considerate and caring, courageous and strong,
responsible for what I say and do,
and to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely,
make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout.
We thank you all for attending. While you play an important role in our council, we want to acknowledge a few key members attending today. We want to recognize them and thank them for their commitment to our council. These people are nominees for 2023 Board of Directors, National Council delegates and alternates, girls presently working on their Girl Scout Bronze, Silver, or Gold Awards, this past year's Gold Award Girl Scouts, Regional Advisory Board members, and Sue Eltz, CEO of Historic Georgia. And a special thank you to our dedicated board members of the Girl Scouts of Historic Georgia, Laura Toms, Jeff Wilson, Jackie Dudley, Mark Bennett, Erica Backus, Lakeisha Bryant Bruce, Lindsay Fruchtel, Jane Hemmer, Karen Hicks, Michael James, Doug Pearson, Caitlin Touton, and Luana Williams. And now to officially get started, I would like to invite Board Chair Laura Toms to call the meeting to order.
Thank you, Annalisa. To get started, we will need to hear the Quorum Report from our Senior Director of Membership, Dee Dee Rivers. Dee Dee, could you please come forward for the Quorum Report?
Chair Tom, our delegates participated in the election electronically from January 6, 2023 through January 21st, 2023. And 43 voting members out of a total of 78 eligible participated in the election, with representation from all of our 6 regions. The bylaws define a quorum as 25% of the delegation. with 43 voting and representation from at least 2 delegates in each region, we meet the number required for a quorum.
Thank you, Dee Dee. I am now pleased to call the 2023 Annual Business Meeting of the Girl Scouts of Historic Georgia to order. As we begin our proceedings, I would like to go over a few important details regarding the business portion of our meeting. Readers are commissioned to take notes from today's meeting. Our readers today are Michelle Colson and Mercedes Shannon Keefe. The responsibility of the reader is to also approve the minutes of this meeting once they are transcribed. The minutes will be sent to all delegates after the readers have approved them prior to the 2024 annual meeting. A teller has been appointed for the purpose of the election. Since the meeting is virtual again this year, delegates receive packets prior to the meeting with the items requiring a vote. The minutes from the 2022 meeting, the board slate, the national delegate slate, and the fiscal year 2022 financials. Votes were submitted electronically and were due January 21st. The teller was provided with the information submitted and will report the results from during today's meeting. Today's teller is Frances Mason. Those eligible to vote were current board members, current board nominating committee members, council delegates, and current national council delegates. Guests, nominees, and staff were not eligible to vote. Moving along, Jeff Wilson, first vice chair, will present the minutes from the 2022 annual meeting.
Thank you, Laura. Voting members should have received a copy of the minutes from last year's annual meeting in their packets and submitted any corrections. The teller will now come forward to give the report.
The votes received were 43 or 100% as yes and 0 as no.
Thank you, Francis. The motion is adopted to accept the minutes from the 2022 Girl Scouts of Historic Georgia annual meeting. Back to you, Laura.
Thank you, Jeff and Francis. It's our 14th annual meeting of the Girl Scouts of Historic Georgia, and I'm happy to report that we had a good year. Our council is trending up and our movement remains strong. In fact, we are showing continued positive movement in every area, and that's great news for all of us. The past year was a more stable year overall, thanks to volunteers and staff who kept the girls engaged. From daisies to ambassadors, Girl Scouts have been involved in activities that revolve around our curriculum of 4 program pillars: entrepreneurship, outdoors, life skills, and STEM. Our staff worked hard to be frugal, our fundraising efforts were successful, and we watched our expenses. Notably, we ended the year in the black again. We were able to do so despite the supply chain's negative impact on our cookie sale and significant expenses in property repairs and improvements. Our regional advisory boards continue to make great strides in community engagement efforts. We now have regional advisory boards in Athens, Augusta, Columbus, Gainesville, Macon, and Savannah. We hope to get a regional advisory board going in Albany soon. These volunteers are our ambassadors and community representatives. They are well connected and committed to strengthening our council across the state. Several of our regional advisory boards are present today, and I want to thank them for their efforts. We cannot overstate the importance of the work of our outstanding volunteers who really stepped up to help in every area. At this time, I would like to recognize a few of our stellar volunteers who received board-level awards during our last high award ceremony. These awards require board approval. The recipients of the 2022 National Volunteer of Excellence Award were Debria Imgren, Christopher Imgren, Patty Lane, Aaron Lee, Jessica Moy, Mary Newman, David Parkinson, Truman Parkinson, Ressa Smith, Janice Thomason, and Allison Wilbanks. The recipients of the 2022 National President's Award were the Emerald Road Service Area, Jennifer Clark, the Marshes of Glen Service Area, Pam Sapp and Julie Lord, the Camp Low Adopt-A-Camp, Laura Pittman, Diana McDaniel, and Margaret Lawrence. The recipients of the 2022 National Appreciation Pin Award were Lori Cobb and Kristen Wallace. The recipients of the 2022 National Honor Pin Award were Angie Bratton, Dawn Palmer, and Marie Carolyn Strickland. The recipients of the 2022 National Thanks Badge were Willie Allen, Lynn Foss, Stephanie Frunpak, and Teresa Laird. The recipient of the 2022 National Thanks Badge 2 was Margaret Lawrence. We applaud these dedicated volunteers who work with our staff to make sure our girls are having a fulfilling Girl Scout experience, and we applaud you all for your commitment to our movement. Now I'd like to ask CEO Sue Eltz to share this year's council highlights.
Thank you, Laura. I cannot agree more about the importance of our volunteers and staff working together, which has become even more apparent these last 3 years. Thanks to every Girl Scout, girls, leaders, volunteers, board members, and staff who continue to rise to the occasion. Last year, we were able to begin our post-COVID turnaround. We ended the year up 13.13%. After 2 years of schools in flux and in-person activities being canceled, families seem ready to get involved again. We are happy to report the good news continues, and we remain on trend towards recovery with our membership up 10%. Now that is something to cheer about. With respect to funding, although our balance sheet shows growth, it's still a challenging environment. United Way funding is unstable. Businesses and individual supporters remain hesitant to give with the uncertainty of the economy and the market. But let's hear more about our successes. Our grant writers have had a very good year with a 20% increase in grant revenues. The Promises to Keep Breakfast in Athens was a hybrid for the first time this year, and they had a 13% increase in income over the previous year. Quest Fest was also a hybrid this year with 515 questers attending in person and virtually from across the country. We have decided to pause that event for a while and will host a bridging event instead. Be on the lookout for more information. One of the reasons we will not be hosting Quest Fest this year is because we'll be traveling to the National Council session in Orlando in July. Our council will send 10 delegates and 2 alternates. Board Chair Laura Toms and myself will also be attending as part of Historic Georgia's delegation. Arrangements have been made for girls and volunteers to attend Phenom, the girl conference that follows the National Council session. Look for more information about the National Council session and Phenom in 5 on Friday, or contact Deborah Dees at our Macon Service Center. Our program team continued to offer opportunities for girls by providing amazing programs, from Camp Outside the Box to Badge in a Bag. Girl Scouts in our council and around the country participated. We also had in-person summer camp. Last summer, 482 girls attended camp and learned how to canoe, build fires, ride horses, make new friends, and have fun and be a kid. Volunteers and troop leaders have played an important role in the lives of our girls. You've held troop meetings, day camps, and weekend trips. And while it's awesome to be back with our activities in person, we all know that COVID hasn't gone away. Domestic and international trips have been postponed and face-to-face meetings rescheduled, all because of an occasional COVID outbreak. In fact, our last week of camp was canceled due to COVID. Now that's a sad fact of life. Despite it all, Girl Scouts have remained steadfast. We cannot tell you how important our frontline volunteers and our parents are to the success of the movement. We value you and your opinions. To that end, we encourage you to continue providing feedback by participating in the Voice of the Customer National Survey. Last year, you gave us such valuable insight, especially in the area of volunteer support. And I assure you, we listen to your feedback and try to make meaningful changes to make your efforts easier and more successful. We'll keep working on ways to make your work more manageable and more impactful. By now, I hope you have heard about our ambitious council-wide service project in celebration of our 110th anniversary. We are proposing to assemble 110 hygiene kits for each of the 125 counties in our jurisdiction. That's 13,750 hygiene kits. But we still have a long way to go. Many of our communities are experiencing significant upticks in the local homeless population. While we cannot solve the problem, we can sure do something to help. Currently, 2,712 kits have been assembled and donated to our local organizations. We would like for every Girl Scout, alumni, family, and friend to help with this ambitious goal. Your troop may be planning to participate, or maybe they've already contributed. Whenever you do, please make sure you go to the website and complete the form so that we can keep track of those donations. It's an enormous challenge, but I know we can do it with everyone's help. The deadline is March 12th, 2023, Girl Scouts birthday. Finally, we're going to host 2 in-person town hall meetings this year, and we'll do 1 virtual. These are important because we get to have conversations about ways to ensure girls have a rich experience. The town halls will take place on Thursday, March 2nd at 6 p.m. at the Columbus Library, Tuesday, March 21st at noon via Zoom, and Saturday, March 25th at 11:30 a.m. at the Savannah office. Please sign up to attend. Watch for the information to register to come out on 5 on Friday. In closing, it has been a year of rebuilding and Girl Scouts coming back. We're not out of the woods, but we can see sunlight through the trees. We're so excited about all that 2023 has in store. You, our volunteers, provide the love and mentorship, and the GSHG staff supplies the glue. Together, we provide the magic that helps turn these girls into our leaders of tomorrow. And now I'd like to introduce you to our council treasurer, Jackie Dudley, who will provide information about our council's financial health. Jackie?
Thank you, Sue. Good afternoon, esteemed volunteers and guests. I am honored to be with you today to present the 2021-2022 financial report. The objective of the Finance Committee is to advance the Girl Scouts of Historic Georgia's strategic plan around the finances of the council by focusing efforts specifically on the fiduciary duties of the board. We are responsible for providing leadership and direction for the board's decisions related to finance. Committee members work with our outsourced accounting firm, Cubics, and Chief Advancement Officer, LaDon Shaw, to ensure sound internal controls are in place and all standard financial practices are followed. As projected on the slide and noted within your annual report for the 2021-2022 membership year, the total operating revenue and support was $5,718,050 in comparison to $6,698,36 in the 2020-2021 year. The biggest difference in the income numbers from year to year is the COVID-related Paycheck Protection Program loan and the Employee Retention Credit. Total expenses were $5,652,973. This was up from the 2021 expenses of $5,067,228. This year, it pleases me to announce that we ended the year $362,216 in the black. Yes, with a surplus. Council staff worked hard, very hard, to keep our expenses below budget, which ended with a positive outcome. This is my report. At this time, I would like to call the teller forward to share the results from the vote to adopt the financial report.
The votes have been tallied, and the results to adopt the financial report are as follows. 43 or 100% voted yes. No delegates voted no.
Thank you, Francis. It appears the vote to accept the financial report passes unanimously. A lot of hard work has taken place and will remain a focal point as we continue to work on ways to streamline our financial position and reduce dependency on United Way and product program profit. On another positive note, we recently completed our audit with an unqualified rating. This is the best opinion that a nonprofit can receive. I would like to thank you for allowing me to present the financials to you today, and thank you all for your hard work. Back to you, Annalisa.
Thank you. Now it's time to, excuse me. Now it's time to celebrate our Gold Award Girl Scouts. Our presenter is Assistant Director of Program, Michelle Edwards.
The Girl Scout Gold Award is the most highly regarded award in the world of girls. Gold Award Girl Scouts are the dreamers and the doers who make the world a better place to the next level. The Girl Scout Gold Award is the mark of the truly remarkable Girl Scout, proof that not only can she make a difference, but she already has. Seniors and ambassadors who earn the Gold Award lead a team in the Take Action project that demonstrates measurable impact. They tackle issues that are dear to them and drive lasting change in their communities and beyond. The Gold Award is a key that can open doors to scholarships, preferred admission tracks to college, and amazing career opportunity. This year's Gold Award Girl Scout has not only risen to the challenge of earning gold, but most of them accomplished this amid previously unthinkable roadblocks that the pandemic presented. But these Girl Scouts persevered. They rearranged and redesigned, they pivoted and persevered, and in the end, they have made us so proud of all they have accomplished. Their resilience and ultimate successes are just the latest poignant example of how Girl Scout builds girls of courage, competence, and character. Earning the Girl Scout Gold Award is the mark of the truly remarkable. Now we would like to share this year's Gold Award Girl Scouts. Brianna Alshore from Grovetown, Georgia, Let's Make Music. Brianna's love of music inspired her project. She installed a public piano at the local public defender's office and created a library and website with musical resources. Christina Barrow from Darien, Georgia, Mental Health Matters, the Zen Den. Cynthia created a calming space called the Zen Den in the counseling office at Glenn Academy to address mental health needs of high school students. Brianna Harris, design of Guyton, Georgia, design and implemented of a food waste management system in Effingham County schools. Brianna started a food waste compost project for Effingham County and College and Career Academy to address the problem of food waste that was created an operating plan for any school to follow to help reduce her school's food waste problem. We'll hear more about this project later. Stephanie Hone from Dawsonville, Georgia, Lake Pollution Awareness and Fishing Line Disposal. Stephanie tackled the issue of fishing line pollution by working with park officials to install 5 fishing line bins with educational information at local county parks. Nancy Laughbaum from Columbus, Georgia, School Community Garden. Nancy created a school garden and a garden curriculum that teaches elementary school students about the benefits of plants and a nutritional diet. Isabella Palacio from Savannah, Georgia, paddling on the Savannah-Ogeechee Canal. Izzy's Mark mapped and installed historical and ecological information signs along a marsh canoe trail in Savannah that was originally used by the Native Americans hundreds of years ago. Victoria Shackelford from Statesboro, Georgia, Blessed Food Houses. Victoria and her team built and placed Blessed Food Houses at several churches in her community that provided canned goods, books, hygiene items, and even stuffed animals for those in need in her community. Emily Trickwater, middle school behind the scenes. Emily worked with school counselors and 5th grade teachers to create and present to rising 6th graders about what to expect in middle school. Sherry Lynn Williams from Brunswick, Georgia, The Gathering Ring, campfire area for gathering, learning, and memories. Sherry Lynn and her team installed a fire ring and gathering area at her church, which hosts many community events and even meetings. Isabella Zanto from St. Simon's Island, Georgia, Church Concrete Construction. Isabella and her team installed new pathways, evened out walkways, and repaired damages on the property to improve the safety of her entire community. These young women are so inspiring. For more information about all of our Gold Award Girl Scouts, go to our website at www.gshg.org, where you will be able to read about each of these projects. A heartfelt thank you to the leaders, advisors, and parents for your support. On the screen, you will see a list of our current volunteer Gold Award members who are key to this council's Gold Award process. Thank you, Gold Committee members. We couldn't properly support our Gold Award Girl Scouts without you. On May 7th, we will recognize our 2022-2023 class of Gold Award Girl Scouts at our virtual High Award ceremony. We hope to see you all there. Thank you for supporting and celebrating our Gold Award Girl Scouts.
Thank you, Michelle. It is very inspiring to see the dedicated work of Gold Award Girl Scouts. Sincere congratulations to each one of them. And thanks to also to Chair Laura Toms and CEO Sue Else for the State of the Council report. We are grateful to have wonderful role models at the helm for Georgia Girl Scouts. Next, we have a special treat. We will hear from Gold Award Girl Scout Brianna Harris about her Girl Scout experience.
So my Gold Award project was to design and implement a food waste management system in Effingham County Schools. You can go next. Okay. So how I got my idea, I was participating in the So What journey, and it required you to visit a local farmer's market. And so I went to Savannah Farmers Market and met with people, and they have a composting program, which they take all the food from people in Savannah and make it into compost. I thought that was an interesting idea, and that's how I got my interest in compost. I was then recommended to watch the food waste documentary, Wasted, the Story of Food Waste, which talks about how different countries around the world deal with the amount of food waste that they have. I started researching, and I decided I wanted to start a composting system at my school, and so I started researching composting in schools. I took field trips to different composting locations, like Linfoot Hike In that did vermicomposting, which is composting with worms, core compost, and Longwood Plantation. You can go next. To start out my project at my school, I had to do a food waste test week to see how much food waste we were actually collecting so I could see how big I need to make my compost bins. For the total week of the test week, we collected 185 pounds of food waste. And I was collecting paper products, but I learned that you can't collect those because they have wax on them that you won't want in your compost. And I also learned that education is needed for the students to distinguish between food waste and trash. You can go next. So with that happening, I created a logo, brochure, posters, bulletin board to educate students on what the difference between trash and food waste is. I created an operating plan of all the steps I took in my project so that I can give it to another school and they can build their own composting program. I created 3 videos to also help in the education project process. Encouraging composting at ECCA, and composting at home are the 3 different videos. I created a composting game, which I presented to middle school students around my county. And I built a compost sifter, which is needed when compost is finished. I also built an at-home compost site so I can compare and contrast the differences of the compost at school and then my compost at home. You can go next. So kind of the task within the compost project, we collect and monitor the food waste in the cafeteria, weigh and empty the food buckets, monitor the temperature and moisture content of the compost, and then document those findings. On Friday, the compost gets mixed, and this project is continuing through the school's FFA chapter. You can go next. My stats and suggestions, I had 35 people help me, 10 organizations support me. I have about 20 student helpers. The total cost was $738. And I also had grants and scholarships to help me with the cost. The total hours I logged for my gold award is 360. And so far since August 2021, we've saved 1,500 pounds of food waste from entering the landfill. My suggestions to any girl or Girl Scout leader that are starting to do a Girl Scout Gold Award project is to be ready for your plans to change. My plans changed so much throughout this project. Self-advocacy, just make sure you get everything that you need. Be timely with your emails and phone calls, and take good notes for your gold. Next slide. So my project expectations versus reality. I was going to take my food waste from the school to transport it to Honey Ridge Agri Center, our school farm, so that I can mix it with the animal shavings and have compost to get rid of the animal shavings and get rid of the food waste, and then make something beneficial. However, the transportation fell through, and it was just easier to keep it at school. And then going along with that, it took too long for the shavings to decompose. And so I started using paper. So now I get paper from the teachers, and it comes shredded, like the teachers shred the papers and we mix it with the food waste to then make the compost. Now it has a better carbon to nitrogen ratio, and so it makes compost better. And like I said earlier about the wax, we can't have the milk cartons and stuff as paper in the compost because of the wax on there. And then I had struggles with support with changes in administration. You can go next. This is one of the videos I made to encourage composting.
I know you're somewhere out there, somewhere far away. I want you back. I want you back. I want you back. I want
Thank you. And I am the recipient of the Girl Scouts of the USA Gold Award Scholarship for this area.
Wasn't that fantastic? Wasn't that fantastic? She makes us all proud to be Girl Scouts. Clearly, the work that you all do matters, and we want to make sure it continues far into the future. Our board members are key to our success. So next, we'll hear from Karen Hicks, Nominating Committee Chair, to provide the report of the Nominating Committee.
Thank you, Annalise. Today, on behalf of the Nominating Committee, I will present 2 slates for your consideration. Voting members received biographical information on each of the board candidates in their packets. This year, we voted for members at large and members at large reappointments, as well as national delegate candidates. We do encourage and appreciate referrals for board members throughout the year. Please submit names to our nominating committee using the general Girl Scouts of HistoricGeorgia.org email address found on our website. The board nomination form can be found on the council's website under governance. We conduct the board candidate search throughout the council's 125 counties to find the best candidates while maintaining the demographic and geographic diversity of our board. The nominating committee is proud to present the following slate of nominees for the board of directors, as well as the National Council delegates who will represent Historic Georgia at the National Council session in Orlando in July. We have confirmed that if elected, These individuals will serve. Nominees for members at large for the term 2023 through 2026, Ashley Cassidy, Delana Shartner, Van Heath. Members at large for reappointments for terms 2023 through 2026, Caitlin Tuton and Luana Williams. Nominees for National Council Delegate, Laura Toms, Board Chair, Hope Bodley, Teresa Laird, Anna Lilly, Ann Long, Kim Melton, and Maya Puckett. Nominees for the National Council Delegate Alternate are Sue Eltz, CEO, Cheryl Leggett, Dee Dee Rivers. I will now ask Chair Toms to come forward to facilitate the election report.
Thank you, Karen. We will hear the election report from our teller.
The votes have been tallied and the results for the board slate are 42 or 98% in favor, 1 or 2% against. The votes have also been tallied for the National Council Delegate slate and are as follows: 40 or 93% yes, and 3 or 7% no.
It appears we have a majority vote. Those on both slates are declared elected, and congratulations. Thank you, members of the Board Nominating Committee, for an outstanding slate of candidates. We would now like to present the incoming board members and National Council delegates. New and renewing board members: Ashley Cassidy, Delana Shartner, Van Heath, Caitlin Tuton, Luana Williams. The National Council delegates and alternates: Laura Toms, Board Chair. Oh, excuse me, I think, no, I guess that's, pardon me, thought I had the wrong page, I'm sorry. Hope Bodley, Teresa Laird, Anna Lilly, Ann Long, Kim Melton, Maya Puckett, Sue Eltz, CEO, Cheryl Leggett, Dee Dee Rivers. Before moving forward, I would like to recognize board members who are retiring and thank them for their service to the movement. The retiring members are Crystal Smith, Susan Sparrow, and James Welch. All have been very active board members and will sorely be missed, but the good news is that we never let our good volunteers go, so you can all be expecting a call for your next assignment. At this time, MC Annalisa will lead the induction ceremony for our new and returning board members. But before Annalisa comes on, I would like to apologize at the end. I'd like to apologize for Brianna's video being out and for our technology not quite working the way that we wanted it to. As we all know, technology is great when it works, but sometimes it's out of our control, and we do apologize for those technical difficulties. Annalisa, you may take it away.
Thank you, Chair Toms. Will all of our new and renewing board members please repeat after me as a Girl Scout promise? On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. Welcome to our new board members, and congratulations to the national delegates. Thank you to all the individuals who have agreed to serve and those who have been reelected and will continue to serve. Chair Toms will now return to officially bring today's meeting to a close.
Well, we have come to the end of this year's annual meeting, and I just want to thank you all for attending. Next year's annual meeting is scheduled for Saturday, January 27th, 2024. Thank you to all who participated in today's meeting, to our girls for leading the pledge, the promise, and the law, our wonderful MC, Annalisa Hegman, Go to World Girl Scout, Brianna Harris, our council readers and tellers, our council delegates and board members, our national council delegates, and our regional advisory board members. Just want to wish a congratulations to our new returning board members and our newly elected national delegates and alternates. Thank you also to Sue Eltz and the staff of Historic Georgia for their spirit and commitment to the mission of the Girl Scouts. Please watch our email for an evaluation survey. We appreciate your feedback regarding today's meeting. And we hope to see you at one of the in-person or virtual town hall meetings and look forward to the time when we can gather at one of the many program activities across historic Georgia. Now our MC will lead us in our closing.
Thank you. For our closing today, let's consider this quote by Juliet Lowe. To be inspired is great, but to be an inspiration is an honor. Juliet Gordon Lowe founded Girl Scouts of the USA in 1912, 111 years ago. She imagined a movement where all girls could come together and embrace their unique strengths and passions. And as Girl Scouts has done since, she made that dream a reality. And though Daisy might not recognize the digital photography or cybersecurity badges that Girl Scouts earn today, she strongly believes that everything Girl Scouts do should unlock their full potential and raise their confidence. A powerful legacy that still feels relevant to all Girl Scouts, past and present. Girl Scouts today still share plenty of similarities with the first Girl Scout troop in 1912. They connect with their communities, get outdoors, challenge themselves, and find ways to make the world a better place. As we continue to navigate these difficult and unpredictable times, it's comforting to carry with us the powerful tools of Girl Scouting that we have come to rely on. It is an honor to continue serving our Girl Scout community with Daisy's positive, impactful message. Thank you and have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Annalisa, and to all the participants in today's presentation. You all did a fantastic job. And if there is no further business and no objections, we will adjourn.